how well 21-year-old Chris Baird did, having been thrust into this match, only his second start. But at half-time, the score in the 2003 Cup final in Cardiff is Arsenal 1, Southampton 0.
Well, for half an hour, Southampton certainly gave as good as they got, but Arsenal pressed home their advantage in the closing stages of the half.
I thought it was an excellent first half. I mean, the first 20 seconds we might have had a penalty sending off, and Henry could have scored. Then for half an hour, as you say, Southampton did really well, but if you're being brutally honest, there's only one team in it. You know, Arsenal have had the better of the chances. When they pass and move and they do it at pace, they're absolutely blistering. They're fantastic to watch. The bad news for Southampton is they've got Arsenal playing really well. The good news is, we said before the match, that Arsenal, the big flaw they have, when they get in front, when they're in the ascendancy, they struggle to finish teams off.
Evidence of that towards the end of the half. There were 1 or 2 chances after the goal, 2-0 at half-time all over.
And I expect we'll see more of that in the second half. We've said it so many times, we've seen it so many times. Arsenal's gone in front, they've looked the better team, they've played really well. The other teams tried to put pressure on them, they just passed their way through it, and then suddenly they stopped playing. And I think that's going to happen again in the second half. Southampton's tried to put pressure on Arsenal. It's very difficult when their passing is that good. And it's difficult if all 11 players are not up for it. And we saw very early, after 20 seconds, we saw an example of one player not pressing the ball where all the others were, and it resulted in a big chance for Arsenal.
Well, I think Southampton have got to continue to be brave. They've been brave in the way they've pressed the ball, and it's a big old pitch out there, and they've made the distances up. But as soon as they don't go all the way, then that's going to be a problem for them, because of the quality of players that they're up against. Good players like Arsenal have got will turn, get the ball, pick it up and run at you with it.
And it's going to get harder for them now. They're going down, they've got to chase it.
They've expanded so much energy, nervous energy as well, with the occasion and everything. So it's going to be difficult.
The fact that they play very much, every time they get the ball, they will look for Beattie, and they play a high ball up that he's going to head down to whoever's coming up there.
You look at the last 15 minutes of that first half,
variation into their game.
You wonder where Southampton can get back into this match, and you wonder if they try to press it and they bring on an attacking option.
Half-time often changes.
Well, it might change it, and it would be interesting to hear what Strachan's saying at this minute in time. I think he'll still be very positive, because for 30 minutes they were doing well. They had one realistic chance, but they haven't created a lot. Yeah. Whereas Arsenal, as I say, when they play up to Henry...
Well, it didn't take them long to create a chance, did it? An astonishing start to the game.
Well, we were looking for an easy 5 minutes. The first 5 minutes, like, they'll look at each other and test each other out. And then...
I was just thinking I got time for a cup of tea for 3 hours.
It was an unbelievable start to the match. And if Henry goes down...
Yeah, it's changed. But let's have a look at the goal, though, when it came. 38 minutes, Robert Perez...
Well, it actually came at a time when Arsenal weren't doing that badly. There was a lot of long balls up to Henry, but this is into his feet. He just waits, plays it to Bergkamp. Good ball back, comes to Lundberg. Good defender, good block. Perez unmarked. Difficult to save that.
This is a great example of the class that the players that Arsenal has. Yeah. Running off the ball, the pass there is fantastic. You see Lumber straight away, he's in there. He's a midfield player. He's playing wide right, by the way. And here's a wide left player in the box picking up the pieces. And that's class.
Just the commentary says it all there, doesn't it? Henry to Bergkamp to Ljungberg to Perez. Yeah. You've got 4 decent players there.
And many people will say, well, it's typical lucky Arsenal, because he gets a double break on this ball and it falls for Perez, but they looked for that.
But Mark, when you were great when it's played into your feet, but this guy is exceptional when it's played into this guy's feet, Henry.
Yeah, I mean, he's got. I like to his own natural ability and the ability that he has on his own. I mean, he's got players around him that are giving him great passing angles, and the defenders have to make decisions in really tight areas, and it's very, very difficult for Southampton to make the right decision.
You're right, it was a classic goal, and as Mark said, when the ball's played into his feet, he's brilliant at picking up people, but when you've got 3 or 4 options and movement and stretching everything, it helps a lot.
Let's have a look at that Henry chance early on. Right from the start, we can see it, right from kick-off. Didn't take long, 20 seconds or so.
That was almost unbelievable. I mean, it starts off, Southampton possession, played down the line. This is what you're expecting. Lauren heads it. And you think, well, wait a minute, it's a decent start from Southampton. and then Lundberg picks it up. It's just a simple ball over the top. Defender doesn't do great. Henry's onto it quick. If he goes down there, it's a penalty kick.
And 10 men.
And 10 men. The great save from the keeper.
Absolutely. This is...
The foul starts outside.
I don't think that would have... Well, it depends on where he goes down. But he starts to grab him before he's inside the box. But this is good goalkeeping. This guy has not played for 4 weeks. And that is 20 seconds into
we praise Henry there for staying on his feet. He could have easily gone down.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many directives from FIFA at the moment. So I'm not quite sure what the current ruling is on Ship. I think at one stage it was a straight red. So.
But that's Henry's instinct, isn't it? He knows that he's got the strength and the pace to get the ball, even though he's pushing him back or pulling him back, and he wants to score the goal.
Yeah. And what a start to the match! An unbelievable start.
It's a good start. Then another chance fell to Arsenal and Bergkamp's shot. I think Chris Baird, making only his second ever start, cleared off the line.
He's done really well. He's a young boy, huge game for him. Not a great deal of experience, but.
This is how Southampton played. If you watch Wayne Bridge here, instead of going to the ball, where does he go?
He's compounded the ball.
He's gone straight back, defending numbers.
Yeah, instead of getting out to the ball and pressing, getting in Lundberg's face, he hasn't done anything there, and now he's chasing back to his own goal.
Spilled that one.
The goalkeeper spills it. Yeah.
Spilled it.
Got away with it.
But then, unfortunately, he's got a young fella on the line there to clear.
Yeah, he's been really positive in everything he's done. The young kid, he's got out to people. Under the circumstances, I would imagine Gordon's been really, really pleased with his performance.
He's not lucky to be in the line there, you know. I mean, he's taking up a great position.
Yeah.
He just flicks away.
We keep emphasising that he's 21 years of age, and 21 years of age is not very young in today's football.
It is if you only ever have one start.
You know, it's his second game. Yeah. This is what really impresses me, because he plays like he's got so much experience.
I think he showed so much composure on the ball when he's tackling. It's as though you're saying he's played it only once before. It's as though he's been playing for about 3 or 4 seasons.
If he can keep it going in the second half.
Football is very much about decision making. His decisions, every time he's been asked to make a decision, he's made the right one.
And you have to say the decision that Gordon Strachan's made to put him in the first place is
justified so far. What the best pass of the first half? Dennis Bergkamp to Thierry Henry. Tasty?
Better than tasty. I mean, when you look at it, you know, when you talk about vision and awareness and just the ability to play that pass in, that is unbelievably good. It is inch perfect. And you're expecting Henry to go hit with his left foot or come back inside, but so you'd expect him to do better in that position, that's for sure.
But this is where Dennis is world class. He just sees that, and not a lot of players can actually see that pass. I've got the imagination to play that pass, but he does that. And this is why he's still playing.
Yeah. Just after Perez scored, he had another chance, Mark.
Yeah, he's came obviously. See, that area was they had a lot of joy in that left back area. I think Wayne Bridge just needed really to get his decision right. Sometimes he was coming, sometimes he wasn't, and that was leaving space for Henry to go in there.
But that's all came pace as well, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
he's come out of nothing there, Henry.
Once again, they get bodies in the box.
And when he's running you with a ball in the box, you've got to back off, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
And you made the relevant point that, you know, if Arsenal have gone 2 up, and conceivably they might have gone 2-3, then we haven't got a second half.
Well, I think that chance actually followed the goal, I think. If they score there, then
it's all over.
Game over.
We haven't got a second half. So what do you think Southampton will do now?
Well, I think, as I said, I think they need to be brave. They've still got to continue. It's not a case that they try and get back into the game straight away. I mean, they've got to be. There's time enough. They've got 45 minutes, but certainly I'd
play the same sort of way for the next 15 minutes and then see how it goes.
Yeah, and some stage they're going to probably have to make a change and
be a manager. Well, you are. I keep thinking of you as a player. Well, Chris Baird, we've highlighted him once. So he cleared another one off the line, didn't he? Just for half time.
And this is what I was saying about the decision making. He takes up good positions, and you see where he is now. He's on his way towards a goal now. He smelled the danger. That ball was probably going wide, but he smelled the danger and he was there to clear it up. And you know, he just played a game like an experienced, very, very experienced player would play it. And you have to remember, this is a game which anyone is under pressure. The whole country is watching this game, and he's just gone in there and done it.
Half time couldn't come too quick for them.
The end.
Arsenal were flying.
For the first half an hour, I mean,
they did all right. They were creating a lot.
Well.
They had one realistic chance.
Fell to Svensson.
Yeah, and it was a good chance.
Just fall for the wrong person, to be fair. This is Michael Svensson getting the ball now. Yeah. And, you know, had that fallen for James Beattie, that would probably have been a goal. You know, this is, if Southampton's going to get a goal, this is where I think it'll come from. A throw-in, a free kick or a corner, a set play in it, because they're very strong. They've got tall players, and you can see by the way they set up that they practice these things. And I can't, I mean, I don't know, but I can't see them create a chance to get the goal.
In fairness to the lads up front for Southampton, they've been really keen to get, and they're running out into wide areas, and Martin Keown and Luzhny, they don't want to go out in those areas. You ask Alan, he never used to want to go.
No, but also the other thing is, like, you made the relevant point that strikers don't often do that, and I ain't naming anybody in particular that you played with.
I'm going to shut you up. Now, in 4 days' time, we've got another big final for you.
Celtic have won the European Cup.
It's been a long journey. Now they believe there's a new team of heroes ready to make history.
Last must be! Celtic are in the UEFA final.
Martin O'Neill's Celtic go for their first European trophy in 36 years in the UEFA Cup final against Porto. Match of the day live Wednesday at 7:30. Interactive on BBC One with BBC Radio 5 Live.
And joining us in Seville for what should be a terrific occasion, the winner of our UEFA Cup competition, Mr. Peter Gibson of East Sussex. Then on Thursday, we've got highlights of England's friendly international in South Africa, BBC One at 11:35. And on the subject of international football, Mark Hughes doing very well as Welsh manager, and he's still turning out occasionally, we see. This is last night, you talked about this goal. What a finish.
You never lose it. It's always better to be a has-been than a never-been, you see.
97% of your goals are volleys, I understand.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got a 5-hour video I can show you if you want.
Yeah.
Pace, movement, a lot. And there wasn't
Not anymore, unfortunately, but I can still hit the back of the net now and again.
Right, well, two managers contrasting team talks in the dressing room. From Wenger, more of the same?
Exactly it. Just keep playing the way you're playing and probe and stretch them. And Southampton made the point they worked very, very hard. Can they keep working that hard for 90 minutes? I think the most important aspect for Arsenal is that when they're on top, and they've shown frailties before when they're on top, they've got to finish the opposition off. And the big question is, can they do it? I mean, as I said, the last 15 minutes of the first half, you look at that performance from Arsenal and say, there's nothing here for Southampton, but we know that Southampton at some stage will get a chance. The importance of taking that chance can't be overstated.
It's basically down to who scores next. Really, if Arsenal score, then the game is over. But if Southampton get back into the game, then we're going to have a good second half.
But Gordon Strachan will be telling his players, you've got 45 minutes of this season left. Go out there, put pressure on them, play like we did against Tottenham, for instance. Give it everything. If you're tired, you can come off. Because if you put pressure on these, they will stop playing. We've seen it in every game we've covered so far. Yeah. They will stop playing, and you'll get the chance in. You get a bit of joy.
As long as it stays 1-0, it will be very, very interesting.
Yeah. Well, you said time and time again that the weakness of this side, the Arsenal side, is that they do switch off. So.
Especially when they're playing as well as they did in the last 10 minutes.
Saw it against Chelsea.
Exactly. I mean, for 60 minutes against Chelsea, they played football like
as well.
As good as I've ever seen this country. And then conceivably, in the end, Chelsea could have won the match. So, I mean, Southampton have got massive hope here. What they've got to do, they've got to go and show the same sort of commitment. As I say, at times try and put Arsenal back four under pressure.
But personally, it's hard to envisage Arsenal not scoring again, isn't it? With their pace of Henry up front.
Yeah. Well, how many times have we said that?
Well, a few.
No, we've said this. There's going to be loads of goals here, and then suddenly they switch off and let the other team back into the game.
But in a game of this magnitude, You know, you would have to be like that. You'd have to think that Arsenal are going to come out, and if they play anything like they've played in the last 15 minutes of the match, they will win the game.
Well, there's no doubt about that. Absolutely.
Okay, that's it. Enough from us. Let's rejoin Trevor Brooking and John Motson.
Thank you very much. Arsenal on the pitch, no sign of any substitutes, and the goal scorer wearing a contented expression. It was the silver ball being used for the first time in the FA Cup final today, and that might prove to be a golden goal. We'll see. Reminder of the teams. Arsenal, as I said at the start, really without Vieira, without Sol Campbell, without one or two others as well. Segan, Jeffers wasn't fit either. But bags of experience, bags of international quality in that team. And Southampton, by contrast, not perhaps so fashionable, but a Norwegian and two Swedes there, and a Finnish goalkeeper who was called upon more often than David Seaman was in the first half. The option really for Strachan, I think, Trevor, is maybe to bring on Joe Tessem if Southampton continue to trail.
Well, Tessem is the obvious one. I think Fernandes is always, you know, he was taken out because of the concern of Perez and so forth, but he has been a crucial supply line for Beattie. I mean, he's a terrific crosser of the ball, and I certainly do feel, whilst Tessem up front, I think Fernandes out wide, getting some good crosses and delivery, and will have to be an option at least for 20 minutes if they're behind.
Arsenal were a player short there. That was the reason the referee was delaying the kickoff. Thierry Henry just explaining, I think, that Lauren hadn't returned to the pitch. Anyway, there's a full complement on there now. Arsenal playing from right to left as they were against Chelsea in the second half last season here. But bear in mind, 2 years ago against Liverpool, they thought they had the cup final won, and we all know what happened then. Michael Owen.